absent a judicial remedy, the only source of accountability for the abuse of executive power is impeachment. What kind of government arrests a citizen of that government, then holds him incommunicado, in solitary confinement for years, without the right to legal counsel, without access to a court to determine if he is being held lawfully, without bringing charges against him, and without a trial? Now, for the first time, the United States joins that ignoble group of nations. In one instance, after a detainee's father filed a legal challenge, President Bush asserted the outrageous position that as president during the so-called War on Terror, he had the power to detain United States citizens without affording them any due process. The United States Supreme Court flatly rejected that argument. It is during our most challenging and uncertain moments, Justice O'Connor stated, that our nation's commitment to due process is most severely tested. And it is in those times that we must preserve our commitment at home to the principles for which we fight abroad. President Nixon approved a plan to wiretap, burglarize open mail, and infiltrate anti-war groups. President Nixon's approval of those abusive and illegal practices was listed in the articles of impeachment against him as an impeachable abuse of presidential power. After his resignation, when asked about his illegal misconduct while in office, Nixon stated, "Well, when the president does it, that means it is not illegal." Nixon's long disgraced view about a boundless executive power is now embraced by President Bush. That assertion of dictatorial power has never been and cannot be accepted in our democracy and in our constitutional form of government. President Bush's utter contempt for Congress and for the balance of power has been on vivid display in his hundreds of signing statements, in which he is presumed to unilaterally determine the meaning and application of laws passed by Congress. Asserting his so-called unitary executive power, he issued a signing statement relating to the Detainee Treatment Act of 2005. President Bush was unsuccessful in convincing Congress to allow him to continue having detainees tortured, so he issued a signing statement asserting that he would construe the prohibition of cruel, inhuman, and degrading treatment of detainees as he saw fit. This is a chilling reminder not only of President Bush's support of torture, but of his view that he can ignore Congress's laws whenever he wants. Shockingly, it was recently disclosed that federal agencies under the Bush administration failed or refused to follow 30% of the laws passed by Congress last year because of President Bush's signing statements. Never has the executive branch, including federal agencies, demonstrated such utter contempt for Congress, for the rule of law, and for the balance of power contemplated by the founders and by our Constitution. We rely upon governmental leaders for our protection. Billions of tax dollars are spent for security so that we can be more safe and secure. While President Bush enjoyed the longest presidential vacation in 32 years, he completely and disastrously disregarded information that Osama bin Laden was determined to strike in the United States. On August 6, 2001, just more than a month before 9/11, and 3 days into his month-long vacation at his Crawford, Texas ranch, President Bush was provided with a President's Daily Brief. The brief was entitled, "Bin Laden Determined to Strike in U.S." The brief stated that bin Laden had wanted to conduct a terrorist attack in the United States since 1997 to bring the fighting to America. It also stated that al-Qaeda members had resided in or traveled to the United States for years. The group apparently maintained a support structure that could aid attacks. FBI information indicated patterns of suspicious activity in the United States consistent with preparations for hijackings or other types of attacks, and there had been recent foreign surveillance of federal buildings in New York. Shockingly, after receiving that information, President Bush did not speak with the CIA director, he did not speak with the FBI director, or with his national security advisor. Rather, as the New York Times reported, he broke off from work early and spent most of the day fishing. Then, as the Washington Post reported the next day, President Bush ran into reporters while playing golf. In fact, President Bush did not speak with anyone about the brief or do anything in response to it until after the 9/11 attacks on our country. That incredible, wholly irresponsible detachment from his solemn obligations was on display again before, during, and after the devastating Hurricane Katrina. These photos of President Bush were taken at the same time as New Orleans residents were stranded and dying.